Wife secretly planned to give away our daughters, admitted she never loved them, so I took the kids and left. Now she's diagnosed with bipolar. Hey Reddit. My wife and I had been married for 7 years, and we had 2 beautiful daughters, ages 4 and 2. From the outside, we seemed like the perfect family, but behind closed doors, something always felt off. My wife, Sarah, had always been distant when it came to the kids. At first, I thought it was just postpartum depression. She struggled after both pregnancies, often withdrawing from us, spending hours locked in the bedroom, barely interacting with our daughters. I tried to be understanding. I suggested therapy, but she refused, saying she just needed time. I took on as much as I could, changing diapers, making meals, playing with the kids, while also working full-time to provide for our family. I thought she would eventually come around, that motherhood would grow on her. But it never did. Then, one night, I overheard a conversation that shattered me. Sarah was on the phone with someone, and I was walking past the room when I heard her whisper, "I just want my life back. I never wanted to be a mother. I never loved them. I just want them gone." My heart stopped. I stood frozen outside the door, my mind racing. Who was she talking to? What did she mean by gone? I slowly peeked through the crack in the door and saw her pacing, her voice hushed but frantic. "I've already looked into it. It's not like I'd be abandoning them. They'd go to someone who actually wants them. I just need to figure out how to make it happen without him knowing." I felt sick to my stomach. She was planning to give our daughters away. My mind struggled to process it. How could a mother even think about something like this? I wanted to burst into the room and demand answers, but I knew I had to be smart. If she was serious, I needed proof. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I started recording our conversations. Over the next few days, I acted normal, but I paid close attention to everything she did. I checked her browser history, her messages, anything that might tell me how far her plan had gone. What I found made my blood run cold. She had been searching for ways to put a child up for adoption without the other parent's consent. She had even reached out to a couple online who were looking to adopt. She was seriously trying to give our daughters away behind my back. I felt trapped. If I confronted her, she might try to go through with it faster. If I went to the police without solid proof, they might not take me seriously. So I kept recording. And then, 2 nights later, I finally got what I needed. We were sitting in the living room after the kids had gone to bed, and I brought up the topic of parenting. I told her I noticed she had been distant and asked if she was okay. She sighed heavily and rubbed her temples. "I don't know how to say this without sounding like a monster," she admitted. "But I never wanted them. I thought maybe I'd grow into it, but I haven't. I don't love them. I feel nothing for them. And I don't want to do this anymore." I kept my voice steady, even though I was shaking inside. "So what are you saying?" She hesitated before finally confessing. "I've been looking for a way out. I found a couple who can take them. They can give them a good life, a better life than I ever could." That was all I needed. I ended the recording and stood up. My hands were shaking, my pulse was racing, but I kept my composure. "You're never going to see them again," I told her, my voice cold. "I'm taking them, and I'm calling the police." She looked at me in shock, then anger. "You can't do that. You can't take them away from me. You were trying to give them away," I shot back. "You don't get to act like a mother now." I walked straight to our daughter's room, packed a bag with their essentials, and carried them to the car. My oldest woke up and asked where we were going, and I told her we were going on a little trip. I didn't want to scare her, but I knew I had to get out of there fast. As I pulled out of the driveway, Sarah ran after us, screaming, but I didn't stop. I drove straight to my parents' house, called the police, and handed over every bit of evidence I had. The recordings, the messages, everything. They took it seriously. Sarah was investigated, and it didn't take long for them to uncover more disturbing details. She had a history of mental health struggles she had never told me about. Eventually, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and they determined that her actions were driven by an untreated manic episode. But that didn't change what she had done. That didn't change the fact that she had tried to erase our daughters from her life as if they were nothing. I filed for full custody immediately. She fought it at first, but with everything I had on her, there was no way she could win. The court ruled in my favor, and she was only granted supervised visitation. She barely uses it. She's still in treatment, but I don't know if she'll ever truly change. Now, it's just me and my girls, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I've had to adjust to being a single dad, but every time I hear their laughter, every time they run up to me for a hug, I know I made the right choice. They are my world, and I will never let anyone take them from me. Next story. She asked to open our relationship while traveling, so I had no choice but to broke up with her. Hey Reddit. My girlfriend, Emily, and I had been together for 3 years. We had what I thought was a strong, committed relationship built on trust, respect, and the belief that we were both in this for the long haul. We talked about our future together, made plans to move in next year, and even discussed marriage in a lighthearted but serious way. I truly believed she was my person. So when she told me she wanted to open our relationship while she was on a month-long solo trip across Europe, my entire world shattered. Emily had always loved traveling. It was something she was passionate about, and while I enjoyed it too, I didn't have the same wanderlust she did. When she got the opportunity to take an extended leave from work and travel alone, I was nothing but supportive. I encouraged her, helped her plan, and reassured her that I would be here waiting for her when she got back. There was never a doubt in my mind that we were solid. I didn't think for a second that this trip would change anything between us. For the first week, everything seemed normal. She sent me pictures of beautiful places, told me about the people she met, and we FaceTimed whenever she had time. I could tell she was having fun, and I was genuinely happy for her. But as the days passed, I started noticing a change. She became a little more distant, a little slower to respond, and our conversations felt less engaged. I chalked it up to her being busy, meeting new people, and simply enjoying herself. I didn't want to be the clingy boyfriend who needed constant attention, so I gave her space. Then, about 2 weeks into her trip, I got a text that hit me like a punch to the gut. It was late at night, and I was just about to go to bed when she messaged me saying we needed to talk. My stomach dropped immediately. That's never a good text to get. I called her right away, and she answered, looking nervous. Her voice was hesitant as she started talking about how much she was enjoying her trip, how she felt so free and alive, and how meeting new people had given her a fresh perspective on life. Then she dropped the bomb. She told me she had been thinking a lot and realized she wanted to explore things with other people. She assured me that it had nothing to do with me and that she still loved me, but she felt like she was missing out on experiences. She said she wanted to open our relationship, just while she was traveling. She claimed it would make her feel more in tune with herself and that it would ultimately be good for us. I was speechless. I could barely process what she was saying. My mind was racing, my heart pounding. This was the woman I loved, the woman I thought I was going to marry, and she was casually asking if she could sleep with other people while she was away? I felt betrayed, blindsided. I asked her if she had already done something, if she had met someone she wanted to be with. She swore she hadn't but admitted she was interested in seeing what it would be like. That was enough for me. I told her no. Absolutely not. I told her that if she wanted to explore things with other people, then she wasn't as committed to me as I thought she was. I wasn't going to sit at home waiting for her while she went off and had fun with random strangers. She tried to backpedal, saying it was just a thought, that she wasn't sure, that she didn't want to lose me. But the damage was already done. The fact that she even considered it, that she felt comfortable asking me, told me everything I needed to know. I told her we were done. She started crying, saying she didn't mean to hurt me, that she loved me, that she didn't want to lose what we had. But how could I trust her after this? How could I ever feel secure in our relationship knowing that, the second she got a taste of freedom, she wanted to experience it without me? The conversation ended with her begging me to think about it, but my mind was already made up. I wasn't going to be the guy who waited around while his girlfriend explored. I deserved better than that. I hung up and immediately blocked her. It hurt like hell, but I knew I had to do it. The next few days were some of the hardest of my life. I kept replaying our conversation in my head, wondering if I had overreacted, if maybe I should have tried to talk it through with her. But every time I thought about it, I came to the same conclusion: she didn't respect me enough to stay loyal. Even if she hadn't cheated yet, she had the desire to, and that was enough. A few days later, a mutual friend reached out to tell me that Emily was devastated and regretted everything. She apparently realized she made a huge mistake and was hoping I'd give her another chance. I didn't respond. I had already made my decision. When Emily finally came back from her trip a couple of weeks later, she tried to contact me again. She showed up at my place, crying, saying she missed me and that she had been an idiot. She swore she hadn't done anything with anyone and that she just got caught up in the moment, thinking she needed to experience more before settling down. She begged me to take her back, promising she would never ask for anything like that again. For a brief moment, I almost considered it. Seeing her so broken, so desperate, made me question if I had made the right call. But then I reminded myself of that night, of the way she had so easily asked to open our relationship like it was no big deal. If she truly loved me the way she claimed, she never would have risked losing me in the first place. I told her I was done for good. That I couldn't be with someone who even considered betraying my trust. She cried, begged, but I stood firm. Eventually, she left, and that was the last time I saw her. It took me a long time to heal from that. I spent months wondering if I had made the right choice, if I should have been more forgiving. But as time passed, I realized I did the best thing for myself. I deserved a partner who saw me as enough, who didn't need to explore to figure out what she wanted. Looking back, I'm grateful I found out when I did. It hurt, but at least I didn't waste any more time on someone who wasn't truly committed to me. Now, I'm in a much better place, and I know that when I find the right person, she won't have to ask to explore to know that I'm enough. That's all for today's video, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time for more exciting content. See you next time.